Hello and welcome. My name is Shannon Kemp and I'm the Chief Digital Officer at DATAVERSITY. And this is my career in data, a DATAVERSITY Talks podcast dedicated to learning from those who have careers in data management, to understand how they got there and to talk with people who help make those careers a little bit easier. To keep up to date in the latest in data management education, go to dataversity.net/subscribe. Today, we are joined by Mageshwaran Subramanian, Managing Consultant of Data Migration at Delaware Consulting. And normally, this is where a podcast host would read a short bio of the guest, but in this podcast, your bio is what we're here to talk about. Mageshwaran, hello and welcome.
Hi, Shannon. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm excited to hear your story. You are a managing consultant of data migration at Delaware Consulting. So tell me, for those who may not know, what type of business is Delaware Consulting?
Delaware is a global company that offers product and services for enterprise digital transformation. And we are a top-tier partner for a major ERP software. If a company looking to implement, upgrade, or migrate their entire business infrastructure to an ERP, we are the one who design the blueprint and configure the new ERP system.
Oh, very cool. And just for, again, if somebody doesn't know what ERP is, most of our community does, but some people are just getting into data. So what is an ERP system?
So ERP system is a enterprise planning resources system. So this is like a centralized system for businesses to keep track of their day-to-day transactions.
Very, very nice. So as a managing consultant of data migration, what is it that you do?
So when a big company switches their business system, moving from one legacy platform to a new modern ERP system, they just cannot leave their data behind, right? So my job is to ensure that the data migration is seamless. I lead and manage data migration projects by building migration blueprint and managing the ETL cycle. ETL is nothing but extract, transform, and loading of the data from old system into the new system.
Oh, very, very nice. So you work with a lot of data in your job. I mean, that's your whole job.
Yeah,
so can you tell me kind of like, what does a daily, typical day look like for you in working with data?
Yeah, definitely. So before we move any data, I have to figure out what we are actually dealing with, right? I spend a lot of time analyzing the legacy system to uncover patterns, anomalies, and duplicates. So this is called the data profiling. The modern ERP system are very specific, and they have a very structured language. The old systems speak completely different. So I work on complex logic required to translate the data from one system to another. So this is more of a data mapping or data transformation. And also I make sure that the highest quality of data is migrated from the old system and the new system. So there are specific tools that we use to carry out all these tasks. On top of that, I also, just not the data migration. So once the data is migrated from the old system to the new system, we have to make sure that the data stays clean, right, after the system goes live. So I build governance strategies to keep the data clean from the day one of the new system.
Very interesting. And when you say keep the data clean, so what can happen to make it not clean?
So if we do not have the governance control in place, for example, there is a free text field that a user can enter anything. If you don't restrict that field, the user can enter anything, right? So things like that can be avoided with the data governance controls.
Yeah. I've been working on some data quality courses. So I'm diving deep into that and pulling that out because it's top of mind right now and such an important part of any data project, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me, when you were, say, 6 years old, was this the dream? Did you say to yourself, I'm going to grow up and be a managing consultant of data migration at a consulting company? Or what was the dream at 6?
I had no dream of becoming a data consultant. Even though my educational background is in computer science, I never thought I would be ending up as a data consultant. I think it all started with my first job. My first job is an analyst programmer role. So that's when my interest toward data became more, But I always love solving the data puzzles. So when I first started working with data, I noticed that a huge pattern, right? So bad data was the main reason big project failed. So I decided to focus entirely on fixing that. Over time, I went from cleaning up the bad data to building tools to catch the errors early. Now, as a leader, I plan the big picture strategy for our clients and share what I have learned with the rest of the industry.
Let's dig into it a little bit more. I mean, so what was your passion then when you were a kid, before you went into studying computer science?
Mm-hmm.
What was the initial passion when you were young?
So growing up in India, I didn't really have any passion when I grew up. All I wanted to do is to study well. That's it.
Oh, I love it. Sounds great. That's a passion in and of itself. Yeah. My sister, I think, will be in school forever. She loves to. She's just always learning something new, getting a new degree. So, but you decided what got you to major in computer science? How did that come about?
So I always love computers, technology. So that's the reason why I got into computers.
Nice. Okay. So then you're in school, you're studying computer science, and then you're landing your first job as an analyst. So tell me, what was it? Just because it was related to computers? What made you go for that first job? And so tell me a little bit more about that job, what your responsibilities were. What was your job title?
First job as an analyst programmer was for a ERP company. So we were building ERP for airlines, and so the ERP runs on different platforms and different databases. For example, the ERP can run on SQL Server, Oracle, or DB2. That's when I got to work with a lot of data, and I also became an expert in SQL at that point.
Oh, very nice. So then where did you go from there?
So in my first job, I was an analyst programmer and then became a software engineer where I build data-related product. As I mentioned, build product to identify the bad data early in the project. And then from there, I slowly getting into leading data migration projects and becoming managing the team of consultants.
Very nice. So you're evolving and you're now a software engineer. So what's moving you forward in your career? What's the next job?
So my current position as a managing consultant, I manage a lead data project. I love that. And I always like being a hands-on guy. I still love developing the migration jobs and taking part in the technical part of things. I would like to continue that.
Is that what made you decide to go into consulting? How do you go from a software engineer to consultant?
It's an accident. So when I moved from one job to another, so I got the opportunity for getting into the consulting. So it's more of an accidental.
I think that most of it is, right? So many of us in data are. It was not an intentional thing. It's something that we found.
Yeah.
So, what's been the biggest lesson so far in your career?
I think if I had to boil it down to one major takeaway, the technology is rarely the hardest part. It's the people and the process, especially in this digital transformation project that I have been involving in. The best technology in the world won't save a project if the underlying business processes are broken, right? So I think the real work is getting the people on board, winning the trust and fixing the strategy. Once we have that, moving the data is the easy part. I hope you agree with that.
So believe that we offer training in communication because it is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it is such an important part of any data job, right?
Exactly. That is true.
How have you learned to get better at communication?
So this comes from experience by basically interacting with people, and also my written communication improved as I contribute more to the community. I write online blogs about data migration and data governance. So that's one way of just improving your communication. And as I said, when you're in consulting, you talk to a lot of people. So it comes with experience.
Yeah. Did you have mentors along the way, or just from your jobs?
I had a mentor who helped me in some of these aspects.
Whether you're leading a data program or building your career from the ground up, the DATAVERSITY Training Center meets you where you are and helps you get where you're going. Explore expert-led courses, industry-backed certifications, and flexible subscriptions designed for real-world application at every level. Get practical insights you can use today. Start learning at training.dataversity.net.
So tell me, having worked with data your whole career, what is your definition of data?
From data migration perspective, data is not just about numbers on a spreadsheet or tables in a database. It's a digital memory of a company, right? So it is a permanent record of every customer you are partnered with, every supplier you are partnered with, every product you have built, and every mistake you have learned from. When we migrate the data, we are not just moving the files, we are transferring a company's entire history so that it can be used by them to build their future. So yeah, that's basically how I look at data.
Very nice. And do you see the importance of data management and the number of jobs working with data increasing or decreasing over the next 10 years, and why?
I think it's absolutely increasing. I don't see that is slowing down anytime in the next decade or so. Every single company right now wants to implement artificial intelligence, machine learning, and predictive analytics. I think AI is completely useless if the underlying data is bad, right? The companies need data architectures, data engineers, data governance experts to clean the data, to structure the data before they can anything cool with it, right? So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done before a lot of AI can be implemented, at least implemented well.
Exactly. No.
How do you see people, in addition to preparing the data, like how do you see people, data jobs evolving in the next few years in relation to AI?
So you're basically asking me how the data professional evolve?
Yeah, how do you see data practitioners, their jobs evolving in working with AI as AI evolves?
So yeah, there are a lot of tools available in the market. So even for me, so I come from a traditional ERP implementation. Now we are moving to cloud-based ERP implementation, right? So that's one way of evolving. And the cloud-based ERPs, they come with a lot of AI feature compared to the on-premise ERP systems.
And what advice would you give to people looking to get into a career in data management?
I think based on my experience, learn RDBMS concept, the relational database management concept. That's going to be really handy for you in future when you become a data professional. And learn to write SQL queries. So I do SQL query a day in and day out as a data consultant, right? I hope you agree with me as well on that aspect. So RDBMS basics and learning how to do SQL query. I mean, if you know these two, that would build a strong foundation for you to become a data professional.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions too. What happens when AI can write all the SQL queries? do you think it's still important to have that skill and understand that skill set?
I believe so. Yeah. So these are some of the basics for data. So data is all about tables and structures, right? If you know how to access them, so it's going to be handy for you.
Yeah, I agree. I had an engineer tell me that even though she isn't coding as much anymore, her job has evolved to debugging. But you still need to understand the code in order to debug it, because AI isn't perfect.
Absolutely.
As no coder is. Well, Mageshwaran, this has been a great chatting with you. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask if somebody wanted to learn more about Delaware Consulting and how to solicit your services, where would they go?
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm going to send you my LinkedIn profile. And also you can go to delawareconsulting.com. You can get more information from there.
That's fantastic. And we'll be sure to put those links in the podcast page so that everybody has access to that. Well, Mageshwaran, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And to all of our listeners out there, if you'd like to keep up on the latest in podcast and the latest in data management education, you may go to dataversity.net/subscribe. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.
Thank you.